There's a false narrative that I believe is going around these college football players. And it's actually, I don't want to say it's disturbing because that's kind of aggressive, but I will say it's a little bit disappointing because I feel like we are, as adults, we are not doing our jobs and consuming the game that we love and understanding what is happening with these student athletes in the right way or with compassion or with empathy. And so it's really weird for me. And so I wanted to just make this video and talk about the false narratives that I feel like are out there with athletes right now. The main false narrative that I feel like that's going around right now is treating these athletes as adults just because they're getting paid. I do not think somebody getting paid makes them an adult. Making money making money doesn't make you an adult. Making money just means that you can make money. And just because you're getting paid for productivity doesn't make you an adult. A lot of these college athletes are 24 and under. A lot of these college athletes have never really been out to the real world. They've been college athletes their whole time. If you've ever been a college athlete or has known somebody that is a college athlete, you will understand that the world of being a college athlete is completely different than the world that a lot of us experience. From the hand-holding they get, from the people that are willing to always do things for them, to the covering up a lot of the mistakes that they make, to getting extra privileges and benefits that normal people don't get. Being a college athlete comes with a lot of guardrails in place because a lot of these college athletes are getting a ton of privileges that we can't even imagine. And so when I hear people saying that these college athletes are adults because they're getting paid, that's a false narrative. I also want us to do better as adults. As adults, our job is actually to help the youth and to reach back and help people. And when you label a young adult as a full-blown adult, you are actually taking away their ability to be able to learn, to be able to make mistakes, and to be able to bounce back. And I've said this in another video. Just because you might have had to grow up sooner than you wanted to, just because you might have had adult experiences whenever you were younger and you had to grow up faster, doesn't mean that you have to put your lens and your experience on these college athletes. They are not adults. They are young adults. They are learning. A lot of them are actually still kids, in my opinion, because they're making decisions at 17, 18 years old. They're trying to figure it out and they are transitioning. I also want to just throw out the psychology here. Their brains are not even fully developed. Their brains are not even at a level of being an adult, but yet we want them to be adults because, in my personal opinion, I feel like if we make them adults, then we can bash them. If we make them adults, then they're fair game. If we make them adults, it excuses our behavior whenever we get out of line and whenever we have unrealistic expectations of them. And so us making them adults is actually a self-fulfilling thing that we're doing so that we can bash them and feel okay bashing them. They're not adults. Also, as I mentioned before, always remember these college athletes have a different life experience than the average person. Athletes go through college differently than we do. So if you are also 22 years old, if you're 22 and you're bashing a 22-year-old college athlete because you think they're like you, they are not like you. These athletes are not like you. These athletes are different. They live a different life. They have different responsibilities. They have different things that they're responsible for. They wear a university on the front of their jerseys. They have different obligations. You are actually sitting at home and watching them play. You are not the same as them. So don't treat them and don't hold them to certain things when their experiences doesn't match your experience. Just because they are having adult experiences and getting paid due to the transfer portal and they're able to leave teams due to the transfer portal and they're able to do everything that they're doing because the game has changed, doesn't mean they are adults. Going through an adult experience doesn't make you an adult. So making money to play college football doesn't make you an adult. That's not how this works. Money doesn't equal adulthood. If that was the case, then child stars that are 7 years old, we would say they're adults because they're making money. That's not how the world works. So I get it helps make your case and allows you to bash these players if you are able to label them as an adult and you don't look as bad, because if you treat them like a younger person and if you actually take the time to understand that their situation is not your situation, then you would treat them differently. But because we consume their skills and abilities when we watch them on TV, because we follow them and because we look at their socials and figure out what they're doing, we always want to put our lens on top of them, and we always want to think that we know what's better for them, even though a lot of us have never been in their situation. A lot of us will never be in their situation, but we always want to act like we know what they should do better than they know what they should do themselves. That's weird to me. Back off and stop acting like these young adults are grown people. They're not grown people. Money doesn't make you grown. Adult experiences doesn't make you grown either. They're young adults. They are not full-blown adults. So if you are attacking college athletes, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what is the point? Ask yourself why you're doing that. I also want to mention that just because your life experiences should not dictate how you treat other people and their life experience. Your life experience is your life experience. Their life experience is their life experience. Don't merge the two. Don't say what you would do if you were their age or what, unless you've been in their situation. Why do you feel like you should tell them what to do? They are making the best decision for them. They are figuring out lives for themselves. And our job as actual grown people, as actual adults, is actually to help them and to be encouraging to them while they're making decisions, because quite frankly, we're consuming them for entertainment. But yet we feel obligated to also give them our opinions, our unsolicited opinions, with no facts, no lived experience, no understanding of what they're going through, no understanding of even having more than 5 conversations with some of them. Some of them, we don't even talk to them at all. But yet we want to tell them how they should be. So let's stop doing that. They are young adults. Stop calling them adults to fit your narrative. It's a false narrative and it's not fair to them. And you're holding them to a higher expectation just because they might make more money than you might ever make or that I might ever make. That's not fair. That's not how this works. And I get that life isn't fair, but as adults, we're actually supposed to be better than that. We're supposed to be better than that. Full stop. The other thing I want to say is college football is not the NFL. These college football players are not going through how it would be in the NFL. Do you want to know why? Because in the NFL, the way their teams are even built, they get to pick players and those players come and play for that team. You don't get to pick. You don't get to decide. It is decided for you. The only time you get to decide is free agency. And that is, like I said in another video, that's the similarity. But let's stop acting like, as fans, oh, when they get to the NFL, here's the truth. I think less than 1% or less than 2% of athletes that are playing in college football go to the NFL. Less than 2%. So what that means is once they leave college football, their careers are over. And then they have to adjust to the real world. The college football world is not the real world. I don't even want to get into all the luxuries and all the things that college football players get that help make their life easier while they're playing college football. And then as soon as they get out into the real world, all of those things are gone. That is why it's hard for college athletes to transition from being a college athlete to not going pro. That is why a lot of them get in trouble. And dare I say, this is why a lot of people, when you go from playing college and you go to the NFL, they end up broke because they don't know how to manage their money. You want to know why? Because they were never really given the opportunity to learn because they're hit with money, and everyone's trying to take advantage of them. So I'm just saying all of this to say, these college athletes are not adults. They are not adults. Some of them might have kids. Some of them might even have a wife. But in my personal opinion, as long as you are a college athlete and living life as a college athlete, the privileges and the things that you were able to do because you're a college athlete, in my opinion, does not make you an adult, because that is not the real world. If you're not living in the real world, and if you're if you have privileges that most of us don't have, that means you're not living in the same world we're living in. So the way that I judge you is different. So let's stop bashing these athletes. I know it's going to be hard for some of us to do. I know some of us, we think that we know everything. I know some of us, based on our experiences, we try to give other people thoughts and how they should do and how they should live and what they should do and why they should do it, things like that. Like, I got it. I get that's how we do things. But let's stop that. Let's be the adults in the room. Let's show these young people how adults should act. And I get that sports are fun, and I get that we have opinions, and I get that we think our opinion is the most relevant opinion, and I get that based on our life experience, everybody should learn things the way that we do and everybody should be like we are. I got it. I got it. However, that's not reality. So I wish that we could stop that false narrative that these people are adults, because I do not think in any way, shape, or form they are adults. I think they are thrown into making adult-like decisions. And why it's an adult-like decision is because they're not full adults. They're actually still young adults trying to figure out the best thing for them to do. So stop bashing players. We don't care about your life experience and why you think they should do whatever they should do. Leave them alone. Let's not bash them. Let's let them do what they're going to do. And I just want to say one more thing before I end this. Less than 2% of people will be able to go pro playing college football. Why I'm saying that is, if an athlete stops playing college football and goes and gets a job and decides that this isn't for him, let's not bash them for getting a job. Let's not bash athletes because they're not on a football team anymore. Getting a job is not a bad thing. So let's stop acting like getting a job is the worst thing in the world, because guess what? If they don't get a job now, less than 2% of people go to the NFL. So guess what? A lot more people are going to be getting real jobs as opposed to not getting jobs. So let's be really careful whenever we go attacking people for no reason, or attacking people because of our fandom, or attacking people because we think we know the right thing for somebody else to do. Back off. Leave it alone. Let people live their lives, and you just sit back and enjoy it. Sit back and watch them. Sit back and appreciate the fact that we have entertainment and they get to go out and do whatever it is they're trying to do. Because at the end of the day, it's honestly none of our business. We are fans. They're the athletes. So let's just sit back. Let's stop spreading this false narrative that they're adults and because they make all the money and blah, blah, blah. We pay you for production because we pay you for production. Stop. Stop. Anyways, I would love to know your comments below. If you have any thoughts, concerns, feelings, or whatever. But if you hate what I said, I'd love to hear your comments below. I would love to hear the justification on how making money makes you an adult. That's the first time I've ever heard of this. It's almost like people are seeking validation or seeking a way to really be able to go in on these athletes, and I don't like it. I think it's terrible. I think it's also terrible for the sport, and I think that we should just let them be, because it is what it is at the end of the day.